Call the meeting to order if we may. Roll call.
Mayor Yanish.
Here.
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Christensen.
Here.
Amon. Nelson.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Dockin.
Here.
Fagerly.
Here.
DeBleek.
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Would you all please stand as we say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda? I have 2. I would like to remove the item E from the consent agenda, and I'd like to remove item 8 from the agenda.
I'll move to
Accept the amended
accept
agenda.
I'm sorry?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the
consent items other than the one you pulled.
consent items other than the ones I pulled. One I pulled.
Yeah, I got that one.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
Oh,
That
eight.
motion carries. We'll open the hearing. Mr. Peterson, I would like to say that we will hold the hearing, open the hearing, and Mr. Peterson, if you have something to say.
Sure. Mayor Yanish, members of the council, the purpose of the hearing tonight is to consider the improvements for the Midwest Technical Campus lift station and the Lakeland Drive project, including the path and the quiet zone. Because there are some questions to be answered regarding project financing, I would ask that the council not adopt the resolution ordering the improvements this evening, but rather accept the improvement report and refer the matter to the Finance Committee for further discussion. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Could you introduce yourself?
My name is Paul Jurek with Bollig Engineering, working on the project, and Happy New Year, everyone. This is the improvement hearing for the bituminous mill and overlay on Lakeland Drive from Willmar Avenue to Civic Center Drive. Sewer improvements for the Midwest Lift Station and bituminous trail. City project number CP 1310. The purpose of the project is to provide a long-term fix for the roadway and sanitary sewer in the project area. It'll also provide accessibility for pedestrians and bicyclists. Will be improved. A quiet zone will be added, improving safety and reducing noise. And also there's a improved area of striping that will increase traffic flow. It's a 2-inch mill and overlay, includes pedestrian ramp improvements, quiet zone establishment, addition of the new trail, sewer and lift station improvements. The length is 2.5 miles. Total project cost $5,914,000. Our schedule is to open bids in March and construction the summer of 2014. This was an overlay I had presented on December 5th. It was just a public meeting we had just to get all the property owners up to speed on everything. I'll just walk through this. On the south end of the project, you'll see Willmar Avenue is here. This is what the YMCA. We propose to do a center turn lane, just restripe that in a different configuration up to highway, just about to Highway 12, just past Becker Avenue to the north there. The yellow is the proposed 8-foot trail It starts on the west side where it picks it up at the YMCA. It goes down to just south of Trot. We have a crossing here, and there's a center pedestrian refuge island at that point. And then it continues on the east side to the north. And then it continues on as we go through to the north up to the Midwest campus. As you see there, the center turn lane stops right here by the Home State Bank. The new added quiet zone safety features are near the quiet zone. We propose on adding a center median at those locations. And the trail has some safety improvements needed with a new gate on the trail at that location. So from there, the trail just continues on the east side of the roadway up to Civic Center Drive. And we make some minor improvements at that location to get across Civic Center Drive. From there, there's just north of there, there's a lift station. Here's Willmar Lake. There's an existing lift station there. We're removing that and replacing it with a new one. But that's what this exhibit shows. Are there any questions?
At this point, the public hearing is open. Are there any questions from the public? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and open it up to the council. Do we have questions from the council? Councilman Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I heard a term last week that I'd never heard before, and it was complete streets. It was the term. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Makes them pedestrian friendly and some things like that. Is this considered a complete street?
As you remember, when we started the project, it was a complete reconstruction. So I think under those circumstances, you'd probably look at it more in from right away to right away and more as a whole, I guess. And that would give you more opportunity to look at some of those things. You'd probably get into lighting and more of the traffic flow and the pedestrian flow and bicycle movements at that point. It does include some of those aspects of it by adding the trail and improving the pedestrian access and some of the safety improvements at the railroad, and then adding some of the center striping. So some of the features are kind of included with that, but we didn't do a total reconstruct, so we didn't look at everything as a whole.
Okay.
Are there any further questions, comments? I have a question, if I may.
Yep.
And that is, in layman's terms, from where to where, beginning with the north?
The northernmost limits of the project is the lift station at the Midwest campus. So it's the Midwest campus down to just south of the YMCA on Willmar Avenue.
Okay, thank you. With that, go ahead.
I have another
Councilman.
question as to what the action was. Bruce said you indicated that we should accept the report and the financing will come later. So is that the action that we do, move to accept the report and say nothing about financing?
And that the council accept the report and refer the matter to the finance committee to resolve financing issues.
So by accepting the report, then the process still is moving forward. We just haven't figured out how we're going to pay for it.
That's correct. Typically, there would be a resolution to order the improvements and direct the preparation of final plans and specifications. It's premature to order the improvements, but we do need to keep the process moving, so we should accept the report and then keep that option open for the council at their next meeting.
So by doing that, then we'll get some firm numbers, so, because I'm sure that there are people that are wondering what the cost is going to be, and there'll be an assessment hearing later. that will
Right, we won't have any, for the assessment side of the equation, we never have firm numbers available until we get bids.
Yep.
But, we can always quote from 2013 to the extent that there's any accuracy in those numbers. It's pretty much a guess at that point.
Okay. Well, I would move that we accept the report and refer the financing to the Finance Committee.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to accept the report given by yourself and send to the Finance Committee for further discussion. Am I right on that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is there any further discussion? We'll take a motion on that. Is there any, we'll have a motion
We have a motion and a second,
and a second.
so we just need to vote.
Well, let's vote.
Okay.
It's just,
Do we have a motion to, or we have a motion? Let's,
All in favor?
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. That motion carries. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bear with me a little bit. This is my first evening with this.
Finance report.
What's that?
Is there a public comment? If there's anybody for public comment, and then it's a finance report, yeah.
it's open forum.
Open forum.
And I do not believe there's anyone signed up.
No one has signed up for the open,
No one has signed up for the open forum?
no.
We will not have an open forum.
So the next item.
And Item
is
8 has
the
been
Finance
removed.
Committee.
And the Finance Committee, Councilman Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This was Monday, December 30th, 2013. First item was public comment, and there was no one there to comment from the public. Second item was the Windstream office closure. Staff explained to us that Windstream has approached the city with the request to close its local office. Section 5, paragraph 8 of the current cable television franchise requires a cable company to maintain a local office within the city operating for 40 hours per week, staffed for bill payments, subscriber inquiries, and equipment transfers. Windstream is proposing language to amend the cable franchise agreement with them to allow closing of the local office with the following stipulations: a one-time $10,000 payment to the city, third-party location able to accept payment 40 hours a week, subscribers do not have to return cable equipment, and Windstream will notify subscribers prior to the effective date. It was noted that the Charter Communications is also operating under an identical cable television franchise. Following discussion, there was a motion made, second, and passed, and I would move the recommendation of the committee to deny Windstream request to close its local office and to leave existing cable franchise agreement with Windstream as is.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to deny the Windstream request to close its local office and to leave the existing cable franchise with Windstream as is. Is there any discussion? We have a motion on the table, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That motion carries.
The next item was talking about extending the Rice Hospital land lease. Staff explained to us that Rice Memorial Hospital approached the city in 1995 for permission to construct a vehicle storage facility on city property next to the fueling facilities. Permission was granted and the lease executed. Rice Hospital is now requesting an extension of this 10-year period, which would run through August 31st, 2015. Councilmember Johnson inquired about the status of insurance requirements in the agreement. After some discussion, there was a motion made, second, and passed, and I would introduce a resolution authorizing the mayor and city administrator to execute the land lease extension agreement with Rice Memorial Hospital through August 31st, 2015, subject to receiving proof of insurance from the hospital.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to introduce the resolution authorizing the mayor and city council, city administrator to execute the land lease extension agreement with Rice Memorial Hospital through August 31st, 2015, subject to receiving proof of insurance from the hospital. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
That motion carries.
Our next item was consideration of city auditorium upgrades. Staff explained to us that in early September 2013, the city closed the indoor gun range at the city auditorium due to a malfunction with the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. At the same time, access to other areas of the building were limited due to concerns regarding potential contamination from the range HVAC system. Since that time, testing has been conducted that revealed the shortfalls in the gun range technology and HVAC system. Staff has solicited proposals from architectural and mechanical engineering firms to assist in redesigning the HVAC and assessing any other building conditions that may need upgrades in order to return the range and other areas to public use. Proposals from 3 architectural firms with associated mechanical firms were received. One, TSP with WSB Inc. from Rochester, Miller, Dunwitty and Gosman and Moore from Roseville, and Ingen and Associates with Duffy Engineering from Willmar. Staff recommended Ingen and Associates with Duffy Engineering for the low bid of $9,500. After some discussion, there was a motion made, seconded, and passed, and I would introduce a resolution awarding the contract to conduct building assessment and master planning for the city auditorium improvements to Ingen and Associates with Duffy Engineering for $9,500.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to introduce the resolution awarding the contract to conduct a building assessment and master planning for the city auditorium improvements to Engen Associates with Duffy Engineering for $9,500. Is there any discussion? Councilman Dockin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a question. Do we have any as-built drawings on that building? And what will we get from Engen and Associates? Do we have any sort of... The building is 70 years old, and when I reflect back on my Air Force experience as a draftsman superintendent, all facilities had baseline drawings, and every time you modified that a room or part of it, you updated your as-built. Do we have a system of drawings on that building?
We have a 1938 blueprints of the perimeter and support beams of the auditorium. And then in the last month, staff has, engineering technician staff has drafted by standard measurements the many building rooms that are now existing in the auditorium, all 4 levels. Does not have a drafting scenario of the ductwork. And then, of course, the 1977 gun range has a fairly detailed blueprint.
So what will we get from Engen?
Well, at this point, we're not having blueprints drafted. It's more of a review of the things and some recommendations to correct it. Should the recommendations be rearrange ductwork and start things differently, then they will hopefully be assigned with another contract to prepare bid specs and to get everything both decommissioned, cleaned, and rectified and back in order. And it will make it a part of the agreement that all blueprints that are now built on our building will come back to our possession electronically for the next go-around.
Good.
Hopefully there's never another one. But
Thank you for your explanation.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call.
Councilmember Christensen,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Dockin,
Aye.
Fagerly,
Aye.
DeBleek,
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
And that passes.
The next items were some reports. We received the preliminary 12/31/13 general fund expenditures report with staff noting that areas that have exceeded the 2013 budget amounts include the mayor and council, professional services, legal professional services, and non-departmental in both general and public safety. The final overages will be addressed by the council in January. I asked staff to look into a policy governing the procedure for staff. This says staff, but it's staff and council in contacting Flaherty and Hood in an effort to streamline the charges. We don't want to limit anything, but I have asked them how we can get our arms around that, and so we have some control over our costs. The committee also received reports on the November CVB financials, October Rice financials, MUC financials, and the November Rice Trust. So that was for information only. We had no old business. Under new business, Councilmember Fagerly raised the issue of Rice Hospital no longer allowing Heartland Orthopedics to operate at the hospital. This question is going to be addressed when representatives from the hospital present their year-end financial report to the Finance Committee, probably at the end of this month. That concluded the business of the committee. Unless there's questions, I would move to file these minutes.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to file the minutes of the Finance Committee. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say no. That motion carries. We'll move into the, bear with me a second here. Consideration of the 2014 established fees for services. Kevin.
Mayor Yanish, members of the council, you have before you a resolution showing the various fees that are established for the activities of the city. When we have some recommended changes, it is customary that we try to bring it in the first meeting of the year to have them adopted. As you can see, there's a handful of changes. Those that are added are underlined, such as the on-sale tap room fees. That was a liquor license that was added late fall of 2013. There's some strike-through in public works of tandem trucks. We no longer have tandem trucks. There's a few increases recommended in materials with the winter sand and salt mix if we sell that to anybody else. There's some changes in the underlining of the community ed and recreation for some ball field charges. And then there are some fire alarm permits that were added also during 2013. The police department at the end there has some dangerous animal activities that was added, and the towing is bid every year and then subsequently adjusted. All those that have now indication of strike-through or underlined are fees that have been charged for past years. It is staff's recommendation that we approve this resolution and we establish our fees for the year, and we put it on the website and other places so people know what we charge for those activities.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve a motion to adapt the established fees and the established new fees. Is there any discussion?
Councilmember Christensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kevin, on the ICE fees, $130 per hour would be $140 in 2015. What were they in 2011 and 12? Did they maintain at $130 or?
Well,
I think
Mr. Brizentine can pull that from his memory. I cannot.
Mayor Yanish, Councilmember Christensen, and the rest of the council, yes, the fees had been stagnant for the last couple of years at the Civic Center. The Blue Line Center actually had a lower fee. So what you're seeing is getting both facilities to the same rate. The Blue Line Center a year ago was $110 an hour, and we think it's appropriate, given the improvements that have been made in that facility, that both ice sheets are charged at the same rate.
Okay. I did some checking on the internet, just other cities, what they are charging, and we're, of course, on the low end, and I don't know what Painesville is doing. Do you have any idea what they're doing? They don't say on the internet, but...
Kevin has checked on Painesville. Painesville's lower. I don't remember what it is, but yes, we know where we're at, and we're on the low end of it, and we've had conversations with users that will have to start to escalate, and probably escalate on an annual basis versus coming every few years like has been the past practice.
Mm-hmm. Do we compete with like Benson and Painesville then too? I mean, as far as
I wouldn't
ice
say
time?
Benson and Painesville would be the appropriate ones to use, but I would think Hutchinson, possibly some of the smaller ones in St. Cloud instead of the MAC. But I think Hutch and Marshalls of the world are appropriate ones for us to look at versus the smaller communities, because many of those don't have the fixed expenses of staff. It's their volunteers who are taking care of those facilities.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know Kevin does a wonderful job out there, and they're getting some quality time for a pretty decent price.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you, Steve.
Any further discussion? Is that just a plain
Roll call.
motion?
No, roll call.
We will have the roll call. Roll call.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
And that carries. We will move, I would mention to you that second meeting in January, due to the Martin Luther King holiday, is when the next meeting, council meeting, is supposed to happen, but we will move it till Tuesday following that Monday, which
20th to the 21st.
20th to the 21st.
That's our recommendation.
We actually need a motion on
I
that.
would move that the council meeting be moved to the 21st.
Second. The motion has been made and seconded to move the meeting from January 20th to 21st. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That motion carries. Is there any old business? Hearing none. Is there any new business? Hearing none, we will have the announcement of the council meeting dates. Councilman Anderson.
Finance Committee will meet Monday, the 13th at 4:45.
Councilman Christensen.
Public Works, Public Safety will meet Tuesday, January 14th at 4:45.
And Councilman Dockin is filling in for Councilman Amon, who is on a
Labor will meet January 15th, 4:45, conference room number 1.
conference room number 1. And Councilman Fagerly.
Community Development will meet Thursday, the 16th at 4:45 at City Hall.
And having that, we will hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. We are adjourned.